Today we start with a Carlo Ancelotti look. For what reason? Because since yesterday I'm reading only one word. Revolution. Overhaul. We change everything from Juventus. From the top, the middle, the bottom. From the management, the coach, the players, the way of playing. We change everything. We have to do it immediately. Marotta back to Juve. Thiago Motta, possible candidate to change Max Allegri. We have cope managers. We have everything. Formation, 4-3-3. Sule, back. Mamma mia, mamma mia, mamma mia. But I knew, I am not surprised. I was prepared. I anticipated it after the loss against Inter. Why? Because this is the moment where we Juventini, we are a bit weak. We didn't digest yet the loss against Inter because it hurts. It's a reality. We were all dreaming about winning them, beating them, going over them in the ranking, even if it was virtually, to compete until the Scudetto. And at the moment, it's difficult to believe still in Il Tricolore at the end of the season. I understand. And if I understand, I can guarantee you one thing. Papers, journalists, insider, they are familiar with the game of media, with the game of football. They know that if they put a Scudetto run between Inter, Juve, Nerazzurri, Bianconeri, Inzaghi, Allegri, Cianaloglu, Locatelli, Lautaro, it will not sell. Articles about it, nobody will click on it. What are Juventini expecting now? To be able to change the recent story, to be able to have the team that they are dreaming about being able to beat the team of Simone Inzaghi. That's what people have in mind because of frustration, because of anger, and it's totally justified. It is correct. So they are playing on it. Thiago Motta, everything is changing at you. We'll speak about that after you, of course, putting a maximum of like on today's video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We have also a dream on the channel. It's reaching as soon as possible 30,000 new Juventini on the channel. What a beautiful community. That would be just simply fantastic. So we start with the first bomba news, and then I will give you my opinion about the game of media. The first bomba news is Marotta back to Juve. Yesterday, some insider, they spoke about it together with Massimo Brambati, ex-player of Torino, of Palermo, 147 games in Serie A, in contact with a lot of people from the football world, with some agents, with some FIFA agents. And yesterday he launched the first bomba. Marotta back at Juve. Now the Juventini are all as Beppe. We just signed Cristiano Giuntoli. Let him work. Does that mean that he will leave? Calma. They're speaking about Marotta back as a AD, Amministratore Delegato, CEO if you want to. Cristiano Giuntoli is the chief of football. DS, Direttore Sportivo, sporting director. So two different roles, Cristiano reporting to Beppe in a future structure, because apparently John Elkann already spoke with Beppe Marotta. We know that the relationship has always been good. Now, can it happen? Nothing is impossible in football. Would some of you imagine Marotta going to Inter after Juve? Probably not. Probably not. So everything is possible in football. Now, I have some question marks, of course. A few weeks ago, he extended his contract with the Nerazzurri until 2027. He's there, bringing Inter probably to the peak. Maybe that can be a reason why he's leaving, because he knows they are at their peak, but we don't know. Bringing them in final of Champions League, bringing them to really seriously compete, to bring back the Scudetto after the last one with Conte. I don't know. How would I see it? Marotta did fantastic things at Juve. He also did some flops. We don't have to forget about them. Now, I will park that news, but the only thing that I'm adding, my opinion, is I'm not surprised. I am not surprised because I told you in the intro of the video, changes. We need to change. We need to sell. We need big bomba because the Scudetto run is over. So if we can't speak about Scudetto run anymore, what do we need to speak about? Well, changes. Big changes. Because Sule back, not back, is not selling. Marotta back is selling. Also, the pages of Corriere dello Sport are selling. If you put Thiago Motta like this with a big smile, Motta between Juve and Milan, they are smart. Not only the Juventini, they will buy the paper, but also the Milanisti that are not 100% sure about Pioli. Because at the moment he's not there in the Scudetto run. He's already out of the Champions League. They are hesitant. So they are attracting two fan bases with one name. Smart. Really smart move. We'll continue speaking about Thiago Motta in a second. First of all, we have to speak about Mercato, because Gazzetta dello Sport a few days ago, they gave us a really strange future Juve, but today they changed everything. They don't care about what they said 3 years ago. as if nobody was speaking about the article they were writing. They change again. Today they are putting us a shopping list of Juve for the summer. Ederson in big. Koopmeiners, Gudmundsson, Felipe Anderson, Ferguson. Look like they like the names that are finishing with son. Boo. Anyway, that's what they're putting. And then they even tell you, this is how Juventus is playing today with the 3-5-2 that we already know, Chiesa, Vlahovic. Then in the future, that's how Juventus could potentially be with Szczesny, 4-3-3. Cambiaso, left back, Jalot, Bremer, Danilo, back as a right back, Rabiot or Ferguson, Locatelli, Koopmeiners, Ederson, one of them, Chiesa or Gudmundsson, Yildiz or Felipe Anderson, Vlahovic. I don't know if it's or on top, because you also need some rotation there. Big names, huh? Big names. What a change. Formation 4-3-2-1, a lot of new names. And it's incredible because they don't care at all. They make abstraction of price tags. And if you go towards the new request for Koopmeiners from Atalanta, they even increased. A few weeks ago, we were speaking about 45 million euro for the Dutchman. Today, we are speaking about 60 million euro. How on earth would Juventus be able to spend 60 million euro on Koopmeiners without big sacrifice? Because if you go towards Gazzetta, Chiesa is still there, Vlahovic is still there, Yildiz is still there, we have still Bremer, we have an extension of Rabiot. Where is the money coming from? Cambiaso is not going to Real Madrid, he's staying. I don't know. So they need to explain me. I prefer a bit, if really I have to dream, I prefer to dream being realistic. Tuttosport is giving us two alternatives, a 3-4-2-1 with the same people that we have today because Mercato is far away, with Szczesny, Gatti, Bremer, Danilo, Cambiaso on the left, McKennie on the right, Rabiot, Locatelli up front, and they also want to sell Trio delle Meraviglie, the trio that we are all expecting, Yildiz, Chiesa, Vlahovic. Then the alternative is a 4-3-3, Cambiaso, left back, Bremer, Gatti, Danilo, Rabiot, Locatelli, and the only Koopmeiners on top, a possibility, Yildiz, Vlahovic, Chiesa. And that's where you see that the three formations, Gazzetta, Tuttosport, they are all going towards one direction, the trio together. Is that possible? Yes, it is possible. Of course it is possible. Is it possible also with Max Allegri? Yes, it is possible. It would not be the first time that Max Allegri is playing with three men up front with a 4-3-3 already happened in the past. Now, we know it. Max Allegri is one that is looking at the entirety of the roster. This season it's difficult. With a Chiesa that is not at 100%, he doesn't find the continuity to play with the three of them from the start is tough. On top of that, we are lacking a bit on the left, on the right, in the midfield. Bremer that is evolving towards a four-man defense, but probably not ready yet. So we want to put him in the comfort zone, playing with three. For a lot of parameters that are saying that at the moment, today, it's difficult to play with the three of them. In the future, everything can happen. 3-4-2-1 or a 4-3-2-1 or a 4-3-3, it can happen. Also with Max Allegri. But one thing is sure, everyone is going towards the three of them needs to play together. And that's where we go towards a facility, an easiness. If Max Allegri is leaving, you go towards a coach that wants to play with a four-man defense. A bit a la Sarri, that said, no way for the three men, we play with four. A guarantee of four-man defense, a 4-3-3. And they are targeting Thiago Motta. That is the coach of the moment, the trendy name. I'm happy, because before it was trendy, before the beautiful result of Bologna, I was already telling you, if Max should leave, will leave, the next one I would love, of course, realistically, not speaking about Guardiola club, would be Thiago Motta, because I love his balanced way, his maturity in front of microphones on the field. It's not one that is going with a la Mourinho, for example, in terms of behavior. I love that he played Barcelona, Inter, Paris Saint-Germain, so top big clubs winning the Champions League, already coached the youth academy of Paris Saint-Germain, so he has affinity with young players, already know, for example, a Cambiaso, so there are a lot of things that are telling me, I like the coach, I really like Thiago Motta, and if Max would leave, this is one of my priorities, Thiago Motta. I really want to see him at Juve if Max leaves. How would he play? Corriere dello Sport is already telling us, not all the lineup, but they are telling us that Cambiaso would go back to his original role of last year when he played with Thiago, and it is a left back. Left back there. The other thing that we know is if Thiago would be there, they would go with a Soulé comeback. Not selling him, but Soulé. Soulé forming a beautiful 4-3-3 together with Yildiz, with Chiesa, with Vlahovic. Of course, not the four of them, but one is rotating towards what people want to play with. The three men with a Soulé on addition. Soulé is playing on the right after the beautiful season that he's doing there at Frosinone. Beautiful. Why not? Will there be new players? Of course there will be new players, but that's what we know today. Then, my opinion doesn't change. On the 7th of February, it's difficult. It's tough for me to speak about a new manager, about Beppe Marotta, a change of coach from Allegri to Thiago Motta, new players, a Koopmeiners, a Ederson, a Soulé coming. It's tough for me to speak about that because the Mercato just closed from 6 days ago. And I told you the biggest mistake that Juve could do as a club, as the coach, as the players, as us tifosi, would be to think that the season was already over on the 4th of February. To think that it's over because we lost against Inter. Because that's where the difficulty would come. You would give up. And if Inter, and I'm saying if Inter, because it will probably not happen, but if they lose some points against Atalanta, against Roma, and we give up, and we are not there, that's a total disaster. Juventus, they need to do their job. 45 points to earn on the field. And if Inter, they win 48 points because they have one game in hand, and they are Scudetti holders, congratulations to them, they were the strongest one. But it would be such a pity if we are not ready to go back in that Scudetto run, to make sure that the papers, instead of speaking about the future, they are speaking about the present. I want to read again, Scudetto run is open, but that depends on us. That's why I don't like too much speaking about the future on the 7th of February. That we lost, yes. That is painful, yes. That is hurting me, absolutely yes. I wanted to win. Of course, I also dream about changes, but today, and I know the game, but I don't want to fall in the game on the 7th of February. One thing is sure is that Thiago Motta will not go to Napoli. The agent spoke, he said, with all the respect, with whatever you want to, Napoli will not be his team. He definitely won't go to Napoli. He wouldn't sign for them, not even if De Laurentiis bought him Zirkzee and Calafiori. He has other projects in his mind in the future. And that's where Thiago Motta, that I already loved, is even increasing in my personal opinion about the guy. Because he understands it. Going in a team managed by De Laurentiis is crazy. Spalletti understood, he went away. Even Giuntoli understood that it was he went away. By the way, De Laurentiis is still stuck there. In his mind, he's still pissed off with Giuntoli. You know what he said today? Because he spoke about everything. Mamma mia, what an ego. But today, he went in microphone, he spoke again about Giuntoli. Again, he said, when I signed Giuntoli, he came from the Serie D, so the 4th division, nearly amateurish. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody was even asking who he was. He grew up with me, with us, with Napoli, in the 8 years that he stayed. But he always has hidden the fact that he was a Juventino, a crazy Juventino. If I knew, I would not have tried to keep him at the end of this season. I will always like him, and I will always try to give him a hand if he needs it, but there are some things that I not accept, that are unacceptable. Man, what a disaster. What a disaster. The guy that brought you back where you are, the glue of Napoli through the years, qualification in Champions League, winning the Scudetto after 33 years, together with Spalletti, of course, not alone Cristiano Giuntoli, that brought you an Osimhen, a Kvaratskhelia. This guy, you would not have kept him if you knew that he was a Juventino, but the guy is totally strange. That's why I'm saying Thiago Motta, wherever you will go, fantastico, bravo. Now, you saw, and it's not over, that we spoke every single time in the possible new Juve about the Federico Chiesa. In trio with Yildiz, Soulé, Vlahovic, but always with Federico Chiesa. Now, yesterday we already spoke about Chiesa. I asked your opinion. Not a lot of people answered me, probably because it was after or at the end of a 24 minutes video. But here, Tuttosport is really putting the same question that I had. 5 months to find back Fede, to find back Federico Chiesa. Because at the moment it's quite difficult. Because at the moment there are some difficulties in terms of consistency, continuity, injuries, mental block, this season has not been the season that Fede was hoping for, has not been the season that we, the fans, were hoping for. And he has now 5 months to show us the level. That's important because we know it is at the end of his contract. 2025 will be his last year. And if Juventus wants to cash in on him and not lose him for free, this summer will be a big one. Do we know, or do the papers know, when they are speaking about new lineups, that Fede is at risk? Are they taking it into consideration? Big question mark. That will be the hot topic from the coming months. So prepare yourself. I already tell you now. I anticipate you now. But at the moment, I'm not sure. Also because there are big teams on him. Liverpool is looking for the post-Mohamed Salah. Pay attention. Pay attention. One thing is sure. Not Chiesa, Felipe Anderson has huge, big chances to join Juve. He's in the future of Juve. Free transfer. 4 million request is a bit too much in terms of salary. Juventus is trying to negotiate towards lower part, but Felipe Anderson and management and entourage, they are keen to accept it. The future, will it be with Huijsen or not? Yesterday, we heard a part of an interview where there was a question about what his future will be, Roma or Juve. He said, boo, I don't know. Of course, Roma is nice, Juve is nice. Coming back to Juve, at the moment, you never know. And you don't know what is happening in football. Now, I don't want to start blaming the Ketala, De Ligt. Calma. First of all, what is that question that you're asking to an 18-year-old kid that is playing for Roma at the moment? What are you asking? What do you want him to say? No, I'm here just for a few months and then I leave them because I don't like. What do you want him to answer? So, calma about the answer from Huijsen. We will see. If he will not come back, I will be disappointed. I tell you the truth. But that's when the new season will start. Tuttosport is going with Alcaraz Nuovo Vidal. Alcaraz New Vidal. Yesterday, 2 days ago, I told you he's not the new Vidal. Big words. People will say today he is the new Vidal. Attenzione, because it's important to read the pagers, not only the big titles, also inside. And actually, it's ex-teammate from Racing that is speaking about him. And he's saying he can become the new Vidal with the big support, with the good advices of Massimiliano Allegri. Because at the moment, he's really an offensive player, an intensity player, rhythm player. He has that youth, he has that strong character, he has that garra, that grinta. With some training, with some evolution of his game, he can become the Vidal. And I always told you what has Vidal that Alcaraz doesn't have. It is that defensive ability that he will probably, with a coach like Max, start to have. Big thing, and that's the last part that I wanted to speak about today, is the importance of that minimum top 4 and the why we don't have to give up in Serie A. I always told you it is vital to qualify for the next Champions League because the next Champions League will be even more important, especially financially for the clubs. We know it, change of format for the people that do not know, they will not be the groups anymore. It will be 36 teams that will play games between each other, not all of them. The first 8 qualify to knockout stages. Between the 9th and the 24th team, they will actually play against each other some playoffs to qualify for the next stage, for the knockout stages. So this is clear. I believe it's not new. But the way how that money will be distributed is new because you will have a possible money for the clubs going to 2,470,000,000. This is nearly 500 million more than the actual Champions League format. 500 million more to be divided to clubs. There will be less money for historical ranking. 50 million, yes, some 50 million euro less than what it is today, but 170 million euro more for actually your participation. So if you participate, you will have more money than last year. Important. That's why it's important to participate. And the result will be even more important because 350 million euro more will be added to the result that you are doing on the field. Not that much in the group, but later in the knockout stages because the 16th, the round of 16th, the quarterfinals, semifinal, final, all these games of knockout stages, when you win, when you have results, well, they will bring you more money that we have already today. And that's why I'm telling you, ragazzi, Champions League is important to qualify, one, and also to try to do extremely well. That's why it is vital, crucial to qualify. That's why Giuntoli, Scannavino, Allegri, the top management is telling you how important it is. Because you know it, if you don't qualify, it's someone else that is running with your money, as Milan did this season. They didn't qualify, they were 5th. They went to Champions League and they took the money. They were able to build on, to sign and attract new players that probably would not have gone there if they were not participating to UCL, like a Pulisic, for example. And that's why I'm repeating you, it is important to not give up and not be too much distracted by the external voices. Marotta, Thiago Motta, Koopman, great, fantastic. We can speak about it on the channel. But tranquilli. First, focus on the game. The most important one. Juventus Udinese of Monday in the Allianz Stadium. Grazie, forza, Juve.